Resin coasters. How do I make them stand out from the crowd and make them different to what everyone else is doing? I decided that I wanted to paint in the middle of 2 resin layers and encapsulate my artwork into these coasters. I think by far the most popular version of resin coasters are the pours, where it's a bunch of colours mixed and swirled together in the mould. They do look good, but I want to do something different. I want to experiment and find other ways that I can incorporate my artwork into these coasters. For this set, I am doing the soot sprites from the Studio Ghibli films. I started with a white base layer. I applied that with a stencil so I had the positioning right of my soot sprites. After that, I started to paint over the top in acrylic paint. Doing this original base layer makes sure the paint sticks to the resin. As you can see on the right side of the screen, I have done another version of this. That was one of my first attempts at the coasters. I didn't do the base coat and I used gouache. I don't know why I thought gouache would be a good idea. It needs to be able to absorb into the material it's placed on, so it took a long time to dry and it took a lot of layers to make sure the paint was opaque. Once I did this base layer and used acrylic paint, it was really easy to get the look that I wanted. One coat and the paint would be down, and then I could build it up to build up the shading that I wanted this piece to have. I wanted them to have some shading and not just be black circles. I really enjoyed the challenge that these star candies gave to me when painting. It is such a small canvas, and trying to make sure it's shaded in a way so you can see the different bumps and nooks and crannies in the candy was really important, and I had a great time figuring it out. Trying to figure out how to add details in such a small painting was a challenge, but it was really good to help push my artistic abilities forward. And I want to go the other way as well. I want to try painting a lot bigger than I normally do and push myself in that way to add even more details in a larger space as well. I do have some ideas and concepts for these larger scale paintings. If you want to see those, let me know in the comments and be sure to stick around on my channel. I went around with Posca pens to add their little arms, and then a really fine paintbrush to add some texture around the edge to give them that fluffy look like they have in the movies. I also cleaned up around the eyes a little bit. I absolutely love Studio Ghibli and would love to do more designs based on those movies in the future. Do you have a favourite Studio Ghibli movie? Let me know in the comments below. For this next set, I decided to try out a stenciling method for the entire piece, not just the original shape. I was thinking, how can I keep proportions of my sketch down? And that was the way that I kind of approached it. My first attempts at these coasters, I had a copy of my sketch sitting underneath the coaster as it is clear, but as I was painting and adding more layers, it was harder and harder to see the sketch, so it wasn't as accurate to the original drawing that I wanted to put on. So using the stenciling method, so I was starting from the silhouette and then working down into the other shapes, just helps keep the proportions correct and looking how I want them to look. So I used Cricut, and I found out that a design space does not keep your size of the files in it. So for example, my silhouette was one size, and then the next portion down, say for the eyes, because it didn't take up the same amount of space, it will automatically crop to it, and then it will just cut it out bigger. Very frustrating, but I'm glad I've learned that the program does that so I can avoid that in the future. When Animal Crossing New Horizons came out, I played it pretty much every day. I haven't played it in a hot minute and I do want to get back to it. I absolutely love the Animal Crossing games. I remember my first one was Wild World on the DS. I absolutely had a ball with it, even though I did not know how to progress at all in the game. I just had fun walking around and watering all my plants and talking to all the villagers. Again, I'm adding the line work with Posca pens to really help tie it all together. This design was really cute and I really enjoyed painting it. I think the hardest part was probably mixing the browns for this one. Brown is not really a colour I tend to mix, but I also don't own any brown paint, which is not the best if I don't want to mix paint. I also did another colourway, a more pastel version, which I thought was super adorable and I loved how it turned out. But here are the final shots of all of the coasters I have created so far. It takes quite a while to make these coasters. There's multiple layers of resin and then painting time. These coasters still need a little bit of cleanup with the second resin pour. Sometimes the resin likes to get underneath the mould, underneath that original layer. But I will do that off camera, and I thought I'll just show you the paintings as they are now. Thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed doing these. If you want to watch any more of my painting videos, please click the link on screen now and subscribe if you enjoyed. Thank you.